So that's the masking tape on. I've tried to, I've covered up, it's not particularly scientific, but covered up where the holes are that the Centerbeam is fitted in, and where the truck's fixed on, because there's quite a bit of this paint came through the screw holes for the trucks. So I'm going to now pop a coat of paint over the bottom of that. Okay, I've got the XF90, decided it might be a little bit light for what I want, a little bit green, so I'm going to mix a bit of XF9 with it just to darken it down, give it a bit more of a red brown finish. Got some IPA in a jar. I'll pop a bit of that in, see how it looks. Yeah, I think that's going to be a reasonable colour. Let's pop a little bit more IPA in there, just thin it down a little bit more. And swing it in the airbrush and see how it goes. Okay, so that's the paint on. We'll get the masking tape off and see what it looks like. Hoping this, I've used frog tape, is the wider tape, which I'm hoping is tack free enough not to pull the paint I've already done. Looking alright. Side. Okay. Yeah. Would have perhaps liked to get a bit more dark in here, but I might put a wash down there. Nothing's come through, so that's good. Yep, really happy with that. That's turned out nicely. Spot a bit there, I just need to pop a bit of paint on, other than that. I reckon that's looking pretty good. Right, final steps are to put the highlights on the wear marks and put the cables on. There we go. So what I now want to do, final thing in terms of the painting, in terms of the weathering rather, is to just add a bit of shine to these worn parts. Where they're dark, they're not rust because they have the load rubbing on them all the time, so they get the metal darkens but is polished up. So I've just got just an HP pencil, and I'm just going to rub that over the top of all the black marks that I painted on earlier on the uprights, and do the tops as well where the tie downs rub over. Just try and get it on. The good thing with this is, of course, it doesn't matter if you get pencil marks on, rub it over the finger and softens it into the areas it needs to be. I'll see how well, not sure how well it's going to show it. Hopefully that just shows the shine on there. Really does look like worn metal. So get the rest of those done. I need to do the bolsters, and it's particularly effective. I'll just do this one. It's kind of my favourite bit of it, I think. Particularly effective on the corners. So we'll get all these done and then see how it looks. Okay, that's looking good. I'll do the other side, and then we can put the start thinking about fitting the wires, which is the final job. Okay, so all the weathering's done. We've got the shine on the wear marks, and I've just popped a coat of Tamiya dull coat over the top, TS80 flat clear, just to tie everything down. That did as I thought it might, just take the shine off the pencil marks on the uprights. So I've just redone those. I don't think I'll put anything over them now. There's something, if they do wear, I can always touch them up again, or I can I've got some artists fixative, I might put that on it, but I think I'm happy. I'll leave it as it is. That should be fine. So now we're at the point of fixing the tie downs on. I'm going to run them from the reels to the bottom fixing hole on the uprights. Each one's got 3 fixings. I think they will have a little probably triangle hook on the end of the cable, so when it's got a low load they can clip it on whichever one they need, and then clip them at the top when it's filled all the way up. Because the little holes are moulded in there, I'll zoom it in and see if you can see them for what it's worth. If it'll focus. I don't think it's going to. Don't think it'll be visible there, but I'm sure you'll take my word for it. They're moulded in, and they are a little hole. So I can plan is I've got Rocket Max thick CA super glue, so I'll use that. I can pop that in the hole, which will hopefully, I mean, obviously this is going to dry with a bit of a shine. If it does, I'll pop a bit of matte medium over the top just to cover that up, but I think with it being in the holes it should be alright, and I'm not so worried about if it does shine on the bottom of the reels, because they would almost certainly have a bit of potentially a bit of oil on them anyway, so that should be fine. I'm waving around this cocktail stick or toothpick depending on your denomination, I shall apply the glue with that. And then the cables themselves, I've bought this ammo rigging. The one I'm going to use is this one, which is 0.3mm. I did buy originally 0.1mm, but it's really fine and virtually invisible. It's also really expensive, but no, I've got that if I need that for any other future projects. But I think the 0.3 should be fine. Even this is quite fine. So I'll put it on, we'll have a look and see if it might be a little bit too thin. I'm hoping it should be alright. They're obviously just a cable, so fingers crossed that'll do the job. So I'll put one on, we'll have a look, see how it goes, and if it works out I'll crack on with the rest. I suspect this might be quite a fiddly job. So first thing I've got is a little post-it note, which I'm going to use as a palette for the glue. The normal problem is, there we go, this glue, difficult to get out. I'll try not to get in front of the camera if I can help it, but I've got to be able to see what I'm doing. This stuff's quite stretchy, but looks like it's very strong as well. Let's drop it in the glue. Fill the hole with glue. And around a bit of this. Dry stick. I should just be able to hopefully feed this into the hole like that. There we go, that's gone in. Must admit to a slight advantage here. I'm I'm saddled by trade, so I'm used to threading needles, so feeding this into these holes. It's a little bit finer than I'm used to, but oops, sorry. And let's see, it's already taken on the glue. I've pulled it tight over the edges and just popped a bit of glue where it tips over the edge and where it goes around the reel. Cut the end off. Glue underneath that. And that is on. Concerned about how fine it is, but I think that's alright. I think this stuff takes paint, so I might be tempted to run a bit of white or silver over the edge, but I'll have a look and see when they're all on whether it needs it. So that's the first one. We'll do another one. Make sure that wasn't a fluke, because that was considerably easier than I was expecting it to be. Don't show up particularly well on the camera, but I think once they're all on, as a sort of in person on the layout, they should look alright. They're visible. I'll put the rest on. I'll try and get some footage in a different light maybe and see if I can make them show up, but on the model, yeah, they're looking okay. Wondering if I should have gone a bit thicker. We'll get them on, we'll have a look, see what it looks like once they're all done. I'm not going to film the whole process, so I'll come back and have a look at what it looks like once I'm finished. Okay, that's the first side done. See if you can see it in that light. There they are. Still a bit concerned about them being a little bit too fine. Although when you look at photographs they are quite hard to see sometimes, so I think they're alright. In decent light they're visible, light just catches on them. So yeah, that's good. I'll put a bit of matte medium on the over the top of the super glue just to secure that. Obviously turn it matte and also help stick, because I suspect these might at some point get a bit of a knocking. I'll get the other side done and yeah, we'll come back to it once that's done. Pretty much finished. I'll come back and show the finished product. So I've now fitted all the tie down straps to both sides. The first side that I did, that I filmed doing, worked really well, was really easy. It took me less than an hour to do all of them. And there's 18 in total on each side. And I say the first side took less than an hour. The second side that I did off camera was an absolute nightmare. I had real difficulty getting the glue to stick. I kept pulling them out from the tops. Maybe I was trying to rush it, I don't know, but I've got there in the end. It's worked out nicely. Once I maybe took my time a bit more and just worked away at it slowly, I got there in the end. So they're all on. Happy with how they're looking at the moment. Hopefully they're visible. They are quite thin and quite difficult to see. Now on the originals, I think they're obviously a wire rope. So what I've done, I did the other side first to see how it looked. It's worked quite nicely. I've got one of these acrylic paint markers, the white one. So and what I've done, just got it running, and then on each of the cables I've just run it over the top of each one. I need to go, I can't actually see them myself at the moment. I don't think they're going to show up on the camera as they are at the minute. I'm not trying to paint the whole thing. The more intermittent it is, the better, I think. It just puts a bit of a highlight on each of the ties, just gives a bit of colour variation, which is good, because I found with these the rigging material is, I don't know what it actually made from, but it's black obviously, so when the cards up against a black background it's really difficult to see them, but they're quite much more visible on a lighter coloured background. So by doing this, I'm just putting a little highlight on them, but I'm not colouring the whole. I'm not trying to get the colour on the whole length. I just want it a bit intermittent. So as you move it around, I'm not sure if it's going to be visible on the camera in the light, but as you move as the car moves around and it's against dark backgrounds and light backgrounds, you get, in both lights, you can see them, and it's really highlighted the straps. And I'm yeah, I think that's worked really well as a technique. You popped a bit on the undersides as well. That'll be visible from oops, both sides. That was unfortunate. I've got a bit on the paintwork there. Sorry, got it off. Lesson there, be careful what you're doing with your paint pen. So yeah, that's the final piece of work on this. I have, I think I mentioned earlier, I haven't painted the wheels yet and weathered those down, and I need to put another, just a final bit of weathering on the sail bars and the excuse me, the trucks and the wheels once it's all done, just to pull it all together in terms of track dirt. One minor thing I've thought of in that, now I've got the straps on, and I'm going to have to be very, very careful that any overspray from the final weathering doesn't get on the straps and ruin that effect. I wouldn't want to get paint on them. And I think the other thing with this is, I know for layouts, my layout's currently set up semi-temporarily down the side of my dining room, and the trouble with having a layout that's set up permanently with your stock on is you do tend to get dust, and I'm not sure how. I'm concerned that dust will kind of gather on the tie downs. Should be hopefully easy enough to clean up, and I probably won't leave this sitting around for that reason. But yeah, there we go, all finished. I'll just pop it on, do a little video of it just so you can see the finished article, and then I think we'll call it until I get the wheels done, which will be another day. We'll call it a day on that. Okay, that just about concludes this project. On the whole, I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. Particularly happy with the shine that I've put on the bare metal with the HB pencil. I think that looks really nice. And also the white acrylic pen highlights on the tie down cables. I think they've worked quite well. Still have some slight reservations about the thickness of those cables. The rigging material I used is 0.03 millimeters, which scaled up at 187 HO scale is still quite a light tie down. So I've got some thread, it's 0.06 that I use in my sewing machine. It's polyester thread that would probably be ideal. I might try that on one of the others that I've got, just to see if that looks any better, because I just think this is a little bit on the light side. But we'll have a look and see how it looks once it's running. The weathering's turned out quite nicely. The wet on wet on the platform I'm happy with. I just need to, the concluding things that won't be shown, as I've said already, I need to do the wheels and also a light spray underneath. So yeah, that about concludes this project. We'll pop it on the layout, give it a quick run. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. I hope it's been of some use. None of my techniques are innovative or new, but I'm glad I've sort of pulled them all together, and I hope that's been of some use to somebody. Okay, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.